East make amends while the West offends, ascend while the trend chasers pretend. They them defend, Sonic snubbed again, my power pole extend and I won't surrender. Unstoppable hetero contender, gotcha games collector, big spender. Jiggle prohibition is a western breastgate, immolate yourself just to own us is straight plagiarize like your name was Bungie. Little kids make TQ plus so hungry. Hoyo verse homo man make me homo. Hobo worse no solar fake in slow-mo. Indie competition getting vicious. Violate so hard they get litigious. No longer goated, melanin coated, chill deep throated, Hebrew promoted. I just nutted, diamond chutted, flooded all of a sudden red, white, and blue blooded. Wanna be women but angular, hairy, age of AI but no vocabulary. Burst your bubble, watch your butt scuttle, sledgehammer subtle, you're now the tuttle. I'm not sorry no one told your ass, but I am not your therapist and you do not pass. Cause I'm the big guy, big guy, big guy, big guy. Hello, beta testers. I guess things are accelerating. You tell me as I'm scrolling down this one more time if it looks like a small amount of discourse and following the removal of criticism that was factual and not inflammatory or toxic as power-tripping Gothic remake developers suggest. Does the reaction seem like level-headed disapproval of the removal of feedback in a way most communicate is unjust? Because it is. But woke game remaking developer sees fit to pipe up and say,
putting all these topics in one place because Jesus Christ. So let me get this very clear to everyone. If you have real concerns about the models in your game, we are more than happy to hear from you in a constructive manner. This toxic hostility will not work, and I purge the forums for it. I will purge the forums. We have shown time and time again that we listen to feedback, so present your feedback in a constructive manner, in a way that I will be determining whether or not it is valid or not. That's not valid, that's not constructive, so I will purge them. My name is Ziddies, and I get my Ziddies rustled. Now to all trolls farming clown emotes, because they just post the same stuff on every game for clickbait, you will get removed real fast.
And then on Twitter he says things like,
sometimes I wonder if people are aware of the massive change that has to happen within the gaming industry for it to survive another 10 years.
Gaming industry to survive, says bitch boy or lady Gothic remake developer, using terms including but not limited to purge, like the Saints Row reboot developer used. Isn't that interesting? What a coinky-dink. There is only a problem in the West entity, and today I'll make sure the East versus West conversation spreads like a plague through this gaming space, since it'll make you seethe harder than you did deleting feedback from people because you smoking that woke remake pack. Break back and stake a stack and stroke for heart attack. Cause hacks who lack a knack for talking smack gotta talk back. Take out the papers in the trash. I'm going to come close to activation if you don't find a human to consult with. Because people like me are getting sick of you fucking losers blaming us in some suicide note when we had nothing to do with you and all of your unmedicated problems. Ugly characters in Western games exclusively. We must hypothesize. Devs crank toxic hostility over forum posts because feedback, critique, and factual recognition of the insecurity or ignorance that leads to source material being ignored and forced material being injected because of the nose ring entities that have been selected to remake something that would last if you didn't graffiti what the straights that you clearly hate crafted. Fiction. No, they're gonna want to pull the slave lever, but it's fiction. And these entities tasked are too stupid and triggered by femininity to see how it complements the story. Just like Silent Hill, where the bitch is a mental manifestation of how he wants her to be. So in this context, the sluttier she appeared, the worse it might be for the character. But you can't process that, you new school dimwit, fucking nose and tongue piercing fella, live your life art director. But all of this is becoming a red flag that just signals the types of entities making these things now. And I say making, and I had to catch myself because you're remaking hack, and you must sabotage graffiti this thing. Thanks for showing us from the outside. You don't even have a release date. We're gonna if it was just this catastrophic clown car convoy that is games for a modern audience, it'd be another ugly for the pile. But stepping into silence and criticism, it brings you right in line with the Sony Naughty Dog intergalactic diarrhea that they hope people will tolerate because anime, we're gonna make it seem like an anime, right? With a real Burger King Kids Club college brochure picture of diversity TM. Bald-headed, disabled, the deconstructions of typical characters that you would find as tropes. You know what I mean? I'll make this quick. I try my best with some of these collages and thumbnails to effectively, at a glance, summarize where I'm coming from. So with my last video, where I highlighted how IGN rates Dragon Age a 9, Dustborn a 7, Concord a 7. They just rated Call of Duty an 8. Where Winds Meet, however, is a 6. But it seems that players are unfazed, as just yesterday the peak concurrent players for Where Winds Meet passed 230,000 players, and today it passed 250,000 players on just one platform, like Schedule 1 this year that approached 500,000 on just one platform. But it will not be receiving the acclaim it deserves because the wankers like IGN and Eurogamer, who rated Dragon Age 5 out of 5 max rating for Surgery Scars, Game Rant, who lives in a fantasy world where pronoun boycotts affected Hogwarts Legacy, the game that sold more than any other in 2023, Polygon, Pride.com, more artificial glazers that elevate titles that don't deserve it higher than they should be, as I said with Blueprints. They're earning my thanks at this point because they're reinforcing the gap that will make for fireworks that I'm done warning people about. Yesterday, a cute jiggly girl threw on a Black Widow outfit. It made it into my feed yesterday, so I reposted it saying that the West could never, kind of referencing Marvel Rivals, as it contrasts a lot of the Western ugly that seems to be the topic of discussion, and influ morons with a straw man that they had no idea would inform AI whom to filter with these attention-starved blue sky attempts at dismissal of reality, when, again, the gap that I like to reinforce between the West and the East, it's so monumental that they're helping seal their own group's fate. Brace for evaporation, man. In a pre-Disney pronoun Marvel era, when Iron Man could be a playboy and hang with Elon Musk or screw journalists, things might have been a bit different. And if they started as queer as things are now, they definitely wouldn't have made it the distance that cool hetero shit might have. I'll get into the day walking later. There's a reason I bring up IGN's Rebecca Valentine, who, is having IGN locking comments and running away over the reset era to admit that their translator is just another woke racist lunatic. And before I waste any of your time, let me read you this loose butthole douche's Dragon Age the Veilguard, the best BioWare game I've ever played article by some douche with purchase in his name. He concludes this by saying, "What BioWare has managed to accomplish here, in the face of all the pressure it's faced since Dragon Age Inquisition came out 10 years ago, is extraordinary. From head to toe, wing to wing, I'm Robert Purchase. The Veilguard is exquisitely realized and full of sophistication, my dick, across systems and storytelling. Oh, give me the money, please. It's warm and welcoming, funny and hopeful, gentle when it needed to be, and of course, it's epic. Oh, epic. I'm Robert Purchase. In a way that I think will set a high bar, not only for BioWare in years to come, but the role-playing games in general. This is among the very best of them. I'm Robert Purchase. It is the strongest and loudest answer BioWare could have mustered for people still doubting whether it could do it. The answer is yes! Emphatically! Whew! I'm Robert Purchase. The Veilguard is spectacular. BioWare is back. A return to form. I'll do and say anything for money and bend and grab my heels just for you. I'm Robert Purchase. And to these entities, this is journalism. This safe, hand up their ass, say the approved thing, going with the flow. Garbage. So, these are the types of entities voting on the VGAs, and Sonic, which was snubbed for an Oscar because the lucrative trilogy so far wasn't diverse enough. So the Academy and its judges were just not impressed, okay? And now we're seeing the same thing occur in the gaming space because Jeff Keighley's woke award show is incapable of nominating Sonic. I'm sure they'll say that it was a mistake or that it slipped their mind and they forgot. It's hard for me to retain the belief that these are humans because I've seen vicious CEOs with more awareness of how they should and shouldn't come off, be perceived, conduct themselves in the way of optics. Again, I think these dumpsterkin are worthy of our thanks because they're not only informing AI, but they are ushering themselves out the door. This is replacement worthy stuff soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if certain things kind of spring up in the next year even. I'm sorry for keeping myself so shadow banned. You deserve better. And honestly, you could break us out of this hell probably by actually liking a video for a change, but we know you're not going to do that. So I'm not trying to court the attention of sore bottom babies carrying my curse further than they should, even when I tell them not to. But I'm Kyle. And I'm not going to sit by and watch them put the Klingon in a skirt in my industry any longer. We can wait until these woke entities complete their sabotage and, and are released from their genjutsu, but there will be no I told you so's because I want them to taste apathy setting in. You'll struggle to be considered. How many of us are talking about juggalos now? I feel that's an apt analogy. Where winds meet. Crimson Desert, Azure Promelia, Ananta, Tides of Annihilation, Phantom Blade Zero, Black Myth Zong Kui, Hoyo Versus, Petite Planet, Varsapora, Flotope. I'm not even talking about Stellar Blade sequels or Liza P. I hear them talk about the gaming industry as if this crash, as it were, affects anybody outside of the DEI pandemic. And these might as well be Grand Theft Auto games for how much they're going to appeal at a glance and be something that everybody already has a foot in the door of because they're free and they are contrast, the exception to the rule that is forced, ugly, flat-chested agenda because of insecure self-inserters. These Marxists that studios seem to strictly employ. Next to these games, you're like what Square Enix and its DEI obsession has been doing to itself. Skirt-wearing Digital Foundry men of Eurogamer prefer Forspoken to Stellar Blade. Good for you. But this is not a lucrative endeavor. Forspoken, Marvel's Avengers, Balan Wonder World, Foam Stars, The Quiet Man, Babylon's Fall. You need people to forget. Special thanks to Vara Dark for bringing some of this to my attention, and a firm handshake to Alan Mill. And a gunshot in the air, my brother. Everybody, move your feet and feel united. Oh, oh, oh.